ressenti partout.
Let's move on to the next topic.
All right, let's get on to it. And okay, you're gonna take the lead on this one
Yeah.
because
So
I haven't really been following it, really following it that closely. Plus, I was busy this entire weekend. So
yeah.
take it away.
So man, the Jeffrey Epstein case is getting more and more and more interesting. And of course, you have like we talked a little bit last week. People were saying, oh, it's the Clintons got to him, or the left was trying to like, oh, well, it's Trump. Trump, Epstein had information on Trump and all this stuff. It's like, okay, let's. I think that all that information to me is the Trump stuff is definitely irrelevant. To be honest, I think the Clintons in this case are irrelevant. Although there was, I don't know if you saw the picture that Epstein had in his mansion of Bill Clinton in Hillary's dress in the Oval Office, doing
Oh
like
yeah,
these
Monica's
sexual.
the blue dress, the infamous blue dress. But I remember seeing that. But I do think that that's just a distraction.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
like
I think
that
that's
that's
completely irrelevant to like
no,
what's
no,
going
that's
on.
how I saw it too. So, but then there was also a lot of people saying it's like, no, stop doing conspiracy theories. It's like it's more than likely just government incompetence. It's like,
Well, I
and
mean, well, here's another thing. If you're one to follow the official story, then you're a conspiracy theorist too.
well, here's what's like when you actually look at like some of the facts that have come out. It's like this is too on the nose. This wouldn't make Hollywood. This is crazy. Uh, so literally so Epstein has all this information. He probably made his money off of blackmail. Um,
Right.
and so obviously he gets imprisoned, and then he said I'm singing like a canary. I got all this information. I want to he's trying to get a lesser sentence.
Right.
Don't blame him. I mean
He's definitely trying to cut
that's
a deal.
that's what he that is what he prepared for. That's why he had all that information. And like literally a day after that news comes out that he is starting to name names, dead, right? So there's weird kind of thing. Number one, raises a few antennas, a few red flags. Then you have where the like he was supposed to be on suicide watch. So that means like the guards were checking on him every 30 minutes. He had
Hmm.
someone in his cell with him to like kind of alert the guards if he was trying to do something. Then all of a sudden, like hours before the quote unquote suicide, that that inmate that was in with him is transferred out. Okay, he's gone. Then not one, but both guards happened to just fall asleep for 3 hours. Fell asleep. That was the official report. They just both of them fell asleep at the same time for the same amount of time, and uh, it's like this is what I talked about. It's like, were these people paid off? Were they drugged? What happened? That's something's not right there either. And from what it sounds like, that and when the autopsy came back, had it been a like the way that he supposedly committed suicide using these paper thin bed sheets on a not very tall bunk bed with him like leaning forward to choke himself. Yet several bones in his neck were broken severely, which would suggest strangulation in the
Oh,
coroner's opinion.
yeah. I think I did watch the Stefan Molyneux interview with the ER doctor, and he was talking about like that one bone in I forget what it's called in your your throat. It's not connected to anything, but it's like a
Right, just
U-shaped
right
bone,
there.
and if it's broken, it's like a U shape. So imagine a U if you're looking down on a U shape, and then like if it's broken inward, that means that suggests strangulation.
Right, but it wasn't just that bone either in his
Right, right,
neck that
right,
was.
right, right.
That's where it's like, because you could say like, oh, if it was just one, like maybe like the way he did it, like he was through him strangling himself,
Yeah.
maybe, but there were more than one. It was several. That's where it's like, that's
Well, right, and
it's
even
kind of like,
like even initially, the coroner said like, "Oh, we need more information." Like, the initial report came out and said like, "Oh, we actually need more information." Say, well, what more information do you need? Here's a dead guy. You examine his body, but you need more information.
oh, and on top of that, by the way, like the cameras, at that time that were supposed to be, that they weren't pointed at near his cell. They went down. The cameras weren't working. All this stuff. It's like all of this happened at once within a several, maybe a 30-minute span. And you're telling me like, how am I the official narrative itself is it's a conspiracy theory. It's like any sane rational person would say, hmm, one coincidence, one of those things happening, maybe it's just incompetence. No, something happened. And the problem is, and to me it's not the Clintons, it's not any of these people. It's more than likely this gang of disgusting monsters that he associated himself with. These are, it's that secret society, craziness that we see in like Eyes Wide Shut. These people have tons of money, tons of influence, tons of power, and him dying helps them. And because honestly, I don't think anything's going to happen from this. I think we're going to find a lot more details about Epstein, all these stuff, and it's gonna eventually amount to nothing. We'll know that like, oh, there's a lot of this information that's out there that it doesn't mean anything. And there has been like where Epstein created this will that was, I think, within a few days of his murder, um, and yet. But he wasn't of sound mind. How could he sign these legal documents? He was on suicide watch. Who
Mm-hmm.
let that go through? So there's that. Then you have like apparently his butler had copies of all this information too, but he's dead. So it's kind of so all these people thinking like, oh, it's just government incompetence. It's all it's don't buy into conspiracy theories. Like, I'm not buying into conspiracy theories. I'm letting the evidence speak for itself. Something happened to this man. And am I sad that he's dead? Hell no. I'm glad he's rotting in hell.